In this video, I am making and using a jig to create some cutouts on two shelves. My first step is to measure the unit and to check these measurements against the technical drawing to confirm that the measurements match and that I can work from the drawing. This ensures I am meeting organisational specifications. Next, I am using the panel saw to cut some material for the jig. I am using 9mm MDF. I know that I'm only going to use this jig 4 times, so I do not need to worry about the longevity of the jig. This means MDF is an appropriate choice. I'm also using some 18mm plywood offcuts to make the stops for the jig. You can see that I'm wearing all PPE, including ear defenders, safety glasses and steel toe cap boots. The extraction is also on and I am using push sticks where necessary. Here I am securing the plywood stops to the MDF, ensuring that they line up perfectly with the edge of the MDF. This is important as the jig needs to fit square and flush to the shelves. I am countersinking the screw holes to ensure that the screws do not protrude and that I'll have a level surface to run the router over. I am making the jig to fit the right hand side of the shelves. I chose to do this because of the direction the router travels. By having the jig on this side, the router will run from the front of the shelves where the ash lipping is first. This avoids any breakout on the ash lipping, ensuring a high quality finish. To cut the left hand side, I will flip the shelves over so the router still follows the jig, hitting the ash lipping first, not last. Next, I am just trimming the jig so that it sits flush to the front of the shelves. Here I am marking the actual cutout, referencing the technical drawing for measurements. I'm using my steel rule and a sharp pencil to ensure accuracy. I will cut this out on the bandsaw. Here you can see me setting up the bandsaw, ensuring that the necessary guarding is in place. Unfortunately, my camera cut out for the actual cuts, but you can see me trimming the edge to reach the correct measurement after checking and finding that I was ½ mil out. Once cut, I have lined the jig up on the shelf and am quality checking the measurements of the cutout. Next, I want to complete a test run before running the jig on the actual shelves. To do this, I also have to set up the router. I have changed the cutter to a straight cutter with a follow bearing at the top. The follow bearing will follow the jig, ensuring the cutter removes the correct section on the shelves. A test cut is a quality checking step that you shouldn't miss, as it highlights any errors before cutting the actual workpiece. It also means I can check the jig can be easily clamped down and that the clamps do not get in the way of the router. I'm pleased with the setup and the result, having checked the measurements of the cutout on the test piece against the technical drawing, and I'm happy to complete the cutouts on the shelves. So I've gone ahead and I'm using the jig and the router to complete all 4 cutouts. You can see that I am again wearing all appropriate PPE. I am also wearing a dust mask as our router does not have an extraction system. It's important to ensure the clamps are tight so the workpiece or the jig will not move when I'm completing my cuts and that no errors will occur. You can see me flip the shelves over to cut the left hand side as I mentioned earlier. Here I am just sanding off any bits that need removing. The final step I need to complete is making the angle square. When using a jig with a router, the corners are always curved as the cutter is round. This means the corners need chiselling out by hand to create the correct shape. To do this, I am first marking out the lines using my set square and a sharp pencil. Then I will go ahead and use my chisel to finish all 4 cuts. All done and ready to test for fit in the unit. They fit accurately and meet company quality standards.